Good afternoon, friends. First of all, this feels really knobbish. I'm going to welcome all my new subscribers because I'm up to about 29, which in YouTube stakes isn't many, but to me is amazing. So welcome aboard everybody who's decided to subscribe and listen to me whittle on about films. I'm a little bit behind because the film I'm going to talk about now, Fighting With My Family, I actually saw last Wednesday and it is now Tuesday of the following week, so I should have done it sooner. Life is somewhat ridiculous with 2 jobs and 2 children. As you can see, I'm sat in my car and this is the first chance I've had to talk about this film, so hopefully I'll get my facts right because I normally do these at home with my laptop in the background so I can check me facts. So Fighting With My Family is the #1 film in the UK, so watching this you may well have already seen it, but if you haven't, or even if you have, this is my take on it. So I will hold my hands up and admit I am not a huge fan of WWE. However, my ex-partner is a huge fan of WWE, and over the last few years that he and I were together, as he got into it more, bits of it started to sort of filter in like osmosis, I guess. He would talk to me about what he'd been watching and SmackDowns and Raws, and I'd take some of it in and some of it I wouldn't. But I do remember him talking to me about a wrestler called Paige, who was a girl from Norwich who had become the Divas champion. And obviously this was quite interesting to me because we associate WWE with being American superstars, and then all of a sudden there was this girl from Norwich who was top of the tree in the women's wrestling, which was pretty cool. And other people thought it was pretty cool too because there was an All4 documentary made a few years ago called The Wrestlers, Fighting With My Family, and that focused on the real Bevis Knight family, who are real people, real family of wrestlers. Mum was a wrestler, dad was a wrestler, and all 3 kids were wrestlers, and it was from that family that Paige came. Now her real name is Saraya Jade Bevis, I think, and she went into the ring eventually under the name of Paige when she was WWE. So I knew a little bit about this. I haven't seen the documentary, I would like to, but Stephen Merchant, comedy icon, legend, all-round funny bloke, has written and directed this film, Fighting With My Family, so presumably he learnt about the Knight Bevis family and was intrigued enough to go about making this film. Did I enjoy it? Absolutely. Being honest, I found it perhaps a little bit Hollywoodized. I feel really bad for saying that, but it was sort of... It's difficult because I'm thinking it was kind of a fairy tale ending, but it was the truth. It was what actually happened. On the off chance that you know nothing about it, as I just said, it's based on a real family. In the film, we see young Saraya Paige, also known as Brittany. Are you following? So she is a wrestler. Her and her brother wrestle. Our older brother is in prison. Our parents run the wrestling club that the kids belong to, and it's sort of the talk of the town where they live in Norwich. But the 2 children, I should say, young adults, Zach and Rhea, have real talent when it comes to wrestling. They pull the crowds in, and their big dream is to be part of WWE, because if you're a wrestler, that's the ultimate, it's the pinnacle, it is the Hollywood of wrestling, it's the Olympics of wrestling, if you like. That's where you would be shooting for if you were serious about a wrestling career. So both of them dream of WWE and have done for a long time, and they get the chance to try out. I don't really think I'm going to say more than that. Again, because you might know very little about it and you may not know the backstory, the real Paige story at all. A young actress called Florence Pugh plays Rhea, Paige, Brittany, plays the central character, and she was superb. She was new to me, I've not seen her in anything before. She impressed me immensely. Real grit, real determination, and fit as anything. I mean, in the physical sense, like, not that I fancied her. Very attractive lady, though. Her older brother, Zach Zodiac, wrestler, is played by a relative newcomer called Jack Loudon or Loudon. Again, I've got pronunciation issues. I'm not sure which it is. He was brilliant. Really reminded me of Simon Pegg though, like a buff, young Simon Pegg. And when you consider that the dad is played by Nick Frost, that was a little bit weird for my head. I don't know if he was looking at him on set every day thinking, God, this lad looks like Simon. But he was very good. The parents are played by, as I said, Nick Frost, of Shaun of the Dead and Spaced and many other things fame. And the mum is played by Lena Headey. I want to say Headey. I really need to check my pronunciations before I dive into these. She will be best known to most as, Queen of all bitches in Game of Thrones. She is, of course, the Cersei Lannister, the manipulative, conniving, all-round evildoer of Game of Thrones. And she was absolutely superb in this part. I'll be honest, her work when she was younger I wasn't overly keen on. I quite liked her in Dread, and then over time in Game of Thrones you just can't get away from the fact that she is a cracking actress and puts in a great performance in that and in this. The family are a little bit coarse, perhaps a little bit rough around the edges. Watching their attempts to charm their son's girlfriend's parents is one of the comedy high points of the film, because they're trying so hard to behave and it just doesn't really come naturally to them. The girlfriend's dad is played by Stephen Merchant himself, giving himself a lovely little cameo in his own film, and why not? He's got a great comedic face. I hope he won't mind me saying that, not that he's going to know that I have. The moustache that he has in the film just adds an extra level of comedy, and just made the moustache alone made me giggle every time I saw it. So yeah, it's a strong cast. Vince Vaughn plays the wrestling coach. He's good in the part. He's not too Vince Vaughn. There was a point in his career when he was just, there was a sort of a character that, and it was the same kind of character and everything. And there's shades of that here, but perhaps not to the extreme that there was maybe 10 years ago. You can't talk about Fighting With My Family without mentioning the main man, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. It is his production company that has made this film, and he's just fantastic. He's playing himself, or an exaggerated version of himself. And while I might not be a fan of WWE personally, when you look at characters like him, and the springboard it's been for his career, I mean, yes, he is an actor turned wrestler. Come on, Katie. He is a wrestler turned actor. There's no getting away from that. But what a career he's had, and he absolutely deserves it, because the guy's got real acting chops, and here he just gets to have fun, play a bit of Dwayne, play a bit of The Rock, and is just, as he is in everything he's in, a walking charisma machine. I cannot speak about this film without clanging into the review that I have had the pleasure of meeting not only Stephen Merchant, writer and director of this cracking film. I've also had the pleasure of interviewing Mr. Dwayne Johnson himself, and that was all the way back in 2005. In my intro video, if you watch that, I'll said that once upon a time I used to talk about films on the radio, and I was lucky enough to do some freelance work for Radio 1, and one of the things I got to do was to interview Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, and that was all down to the generosity of one Mr. James King. So a big thank you to him, because 14 years on, I still clang into conversations. Oh yeah, I've met The Rock. Boom, mic drop, because people just go, what? What, really? Yes, really. He's brilliant. The film is very entertaining. I think it's 12A rated. It's a little bit sweary in places, but nothing severe, nothing too much to worry about, just what you'd expect from a 12A. There is wrestling. It's not real violence. I know the criticism that gets levelled at WWE, or if people don't like it, aren't fans, the thing they always say to people who are fans is, yeah, but it's all fake. Well, yes, but my God, those people are fit, and my God, they work hard, and a lot of choreography and a lot of work goes into that, and at the end of the day, it's entertainment. And the WWE entertainment juggernaut shows no signs of slowing down. So, you know, just go with it. I'm not suggesting you become a fan of WWE if you're not already. I'm never going to sit down and watch WrestleMania, but don't let that put you off seeing this film. You need very little knowledge of real WWE wrestling, and it is just a great Rocky type underdog fighting our way up to the top story with a great cast. Very entertaining, made me laugh a lot, and yeah, I enjoyed it. I did say it was a little bit perhaps fairy tale-y, Hollywoodized, but you know, it's entertainment, that's what you're going for. So I would definitely give Fighting With My Family my seal of approval, big thumbs up if you go and see it. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Okay, that's it for now. Katie out.